All right, I think we're live. All right, Josh, go ahead, man.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Helpdesk Hangouts. My name is Josh Brzezinski, and I'll be the host for this week. Helpdesk Hangouts is where we try to help webmasters and online marketers with their online marketing and website questions. This week, I am joined by an esteemed panel of co-hosts and guests, and I'll get them to introduce themselves, and I'll start with Mr. Barry, the Search Terminator Schwartz.
Hi, I'm Barry Schwartz.
There you go. Next, I'll ask Danny to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny and I'm interested in SEO.
And Danny is always very positive and has very positive things to say. No comment? Okay. Next is Matt Storms.
Matt Storms, technical SEO consultant located in San Jose.
Thank you, Matt. It's good to have you with us. Of course, this is Matt's Hangout. Never mind. Kevin?
I'm Kevin Mullet. That's Mullet with two T's. That's what differentiates me from the fish and the haircut, so it's very important, and I like bacon.
Who doesn't like bacon? Kevin Bacon is quite the actor. Robert?
I'm Robert O'Haver, SEO consultant and search engine marketing expert.
Thank you, Robert. And last but not least...
Just kidding.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said self-proclaimed. I was just kidding.
I proclaim it too. So now there's two people proclaiming it.
Yeah,
And next?
William Rock, internet marketing geek on the internet all over the place. I focus on analytics, conversion based on paid advertising.
He's been everywhere, man. He has been everywhere. And last but not least, Manuel, if you don't mind introducing yourself, if you have a microphone.
Okay, can you listen to me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm Manuel Lemos. I'm Portuguese. I'm living in Brazil. I'm at CNCTC for the Portuguese forums. I'm also a web developer.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for joining us. So today we're going to do some more site clinics. If people have some sites they want to have us take a look at and provide some top-level SEO suggestions and web design suggestions, we'd be happy to do that. And also, maybe Matt can go and find some questions out of the Google product forums, and we can help people with those public questions there as well. But before we get to that, I was wondering if Barry Schwartz, our resident SEO news enthusiast, would tell us what is going on in the world of SEO. Barry.
What's going on with SEO?
Hello, Christina.
Hi there, guys. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Some people thought there was a Panda update, not going to name names, a couple days ago. But really it wasn't, if you believe them. Tomorrow there's going to be a Google Doodle for a special birthday for Laura Wilders, her 148th birthday. She's really old. Really cool that third-party apps can now be in Google Now cards for select partners. Twitter and Google are working together. We're going to bring back Twitter spam in the Google search results, which I'm sure some people who are hosting this show are very happy about. And there's a lot more. I don't know if I keep going, but and my cats might be watching this show right now.
Great. Fantastic. I'm sure he's happy to see me again, as I'm always happy to hear about him. But regarding one of the things you said there, Barry, so it's very interesting that Google, of course, brings out algorithms. Sometimes they announce what they are, sometimes they don't. And it's usually pretty dangerous to just jump to conclusions about what the algorithm is when the way to fix that algorithm might be completely different and can cost a lot of money. So I think we have to be very cautious when a new algorithm comes out before we jump to conclusions and say, oh, it's Penguin, delete all your links, or oh, it's Panda, delete all your pages. You know, a little bit of hyperbole, but not too much hyperbole there. But so, Barry, you're saying, though, that you contact Google PR, and they told you that this recent update was neither Panda nor Penguin.
Yes.
Does anyone have any comment about that? I mean, I don't know if. I guess it could be something else. It's unfortunate that they can't give us more information, but I guess that's the way it goes.
Can I comment something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I've noticed in the latest days huge activity in crawling on my sites about the day, let me see, starting in 29th, and then another major peak on 31st, and then another on 3. And this is interesting. I think it was just that
Lost you.
Yeah, I think we lost his audio. So till he
can't
gets
hear you there, Manuel. You were just saying, I think it's fascinating. The brilliant Josh said, and then the audio cut out. I guess Matt Cutts is listening. He terminated your audio at that moment.
Yes. Google does updates all the time. I think there's a prime example of one that someone brought to the search forum the other day. I thought it was quite unique. It never rendered before. They made a tweak. It somehow started showing up, and the mommy in safe search images, basically plastic surgery images before and after of women were showing up. So they made a tweak. I tried to get help to them. I know Barry wrote a post about it, and then they finally did the tweak. So they're always tweaking stuff, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. I think that's a good example.
Why don't you just go work for Google?
Believe it or not, they tried to hire me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just work for them for free.
The what?
Just work for them for free.
Oh, work for them for free.
I think he does that.
I kind of do that already. That's called being a forum. I think Webado here, Christina, she's worked for free for Google for way longer than I have.
And for many other people.
Can I ask a question? Where do you guys see your crawl when and how often Google crawls your sites?
How do you mean? How do we tell when Google crawls?
I just heard Pedro talking that he saw a bump up in the crawling of his site. Where do you see that? Is that something you see on your server or Webmaster tools?
Both.
Both.
You can also check Google's cache date on Google SERP. It's not always perfectly accurate, but up until recently, it's been fairly accurate.
It's improved a lot recently.
November, December, it was delayed for a few months for some reason, but it seems to be updated on a regular basis now as well. Although John Mueller has said you can't perfectly rely on that data. It's two separate processes. The crawling process talks then to the cache process that this is a different process on the SERP that pulls information from this to show what the information is on the SERP. They're not the same process. If my
100% correct.
If my hand diagrams make any sense.
No, it's 100% correct on that. There's definitely I use server logs. I'm looking at like New Relic. There's some good stuff that you can get out of there. Christina's like, Christina, you don't like New Relic?
I've been fighting to get that damn thing removed from my server because my admin decided that it's a good thing to have, and it adds scripts in the wrong places on my pages. I just hate them with a passion.
They can.
I've been blasting them everywhere in all the media, and
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. They know they have issues.
I contacted them by email way in the beginning when I realized what was happening and asked them, why are you sticking this stuff on my site? They never responded. So I've been blasting them ever since.
I have an email
to respond with a meaningful answer, or any answer for that matter. I'll just blast them.
Okay. Well, I have a contact you can talk to, and they, it's for server stuff, so they can help you out with that and figure out what's going on there.
I will. My next step is to strangle my server admin if he doesn't get rid of it. He kind of got rid of it, but it's causing errors to pile up in the log because he could not get rid of the whole thing.
So there's I like it. There's other services out there to understand how Google bot is crawling your site. I don't know, maybe some of you guys, other people here, have some other things, other tools that they're using.
Yeah, you can use Splunk, the free version. The paid version is expensive.
So is this something that you have to install, or it's?
Well, I used what they call it, installed in a local host, on your computer, and you access it through your browser, and you upload the file, and you basically start indexing it, and you collect that information, you throw it through Excel, and start doing graphs, and see which pages it hits the most, and all that stuff. But there's another service where you can actually, it does most of it, but if your website is a little bit big, it also might be costly, and I think it's Spotify.
There's even, you can actually, I can't remember what the name of it is, I still have it saved somewhere, but there's a guy who wrote a script to download and parses all of the Google Webmaster Tools crawling and all that information of the like kilobytes downloaded and all that type of stuff, that data, and it parses a script out, and then it renders it in a Excel file, so you can actually read it how it would actually normally render.
Josh, could you take us through Webmaster Tools to show us where it is, really quickly?
Sure thing. Hold on, let me open it up.
Don't show any of your clients, Josh. Careful.
Yeah, not the porn sites, the other ones.
oh, darn. I'll have to open up a different Webmaster Tools then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, don't Google mommy.
Let's see those test sites. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell you what, Josh, later this afternoon, Josh, let me remind me, and I will share Helpdesk Hangouts with you, so that way you can use it for situations like this, okay?
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
So I'll share the screen then, and there will be an infinite there. So you should see Webmaster Tools.
Yes.
Great. So what is it I'm supposed to show you?
Crawl.
The crawl.
Okay, so the crawl section is here. We have crawl errors, crawl stats. You can fetch as Google. There's some interesting extra little features in there. The robot text tester, which is very interesting. We'll look at that in a second. You can submit your sitemaps here and check them out, and URL parameters, which I think is crucial, in fact, to SEO. A lot of people don't look at this, but I think this is actually a huge deal. So let's go through it.
There's a manual notice up there for you.
So this is the crawl errors. I don't have any access denied errors, but I do have some not found errors, and this just happens automatically. This is my site called The Moral Concept, where I rant against various things in the industry. I have my Panda list there, and I also have my Penguin 3 article there. And so this is just from links people have made to me that I've responded 404 on.
So let's go through the crawl stats there.
The crawl stats?
Yeah, because I think that's what he's really getting down to. This is what he wants to see.
So I don't have it's not a very big site, unfortunately, but it does show the crawl. This is pretty average. The site doesn't change all that often. There's only 3 pages, so to have this low a crawl rate is not that big of a deal. On average, they crawl 15 pages a day. That's impossible because there's only 3 pages.
Oh, they crawl
That's good, actually.
5 times. But there may be other pages.
That just means we're hitting the same page.
Sorry?
The other pages that you're not aware of.
Well, it's supposed to respond 404 on anything that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but that's a crawl.
Yeah.
That'll register as a crawl, and you better make sure it's a true 404, not just the page that says I'm a 404.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. The server does. It's supposed to give a 404 HTTP status header. That's what we're talking about, by the way, for anybody listening.
Yeah, so there's some great data and information that you can take from this page, and I don't remember exactly where it is, but I'll go and find it. But there is a way that you can actually go and grab the source code, and then you can parse it, and it will give you all the information in a CSV, so you can read this with the actual statistical numbers next to it, which is really nice.
I think it's good. Let's quickly go through the rest of this because it's actually really important. Fetches Google. So this is where you'd be able to get Google to go to the site and crawl it, and you can actually get them to crawl the whole thing. And not only this, but you can actually see how Google sees your site. Now look here. This is a problem for me. This is how Google sees the page. This is not how it's supposed to look. That's not how it's supposed to look. So this is an issue. If I saw a client that had this problem, I'd say, this is how Googlebot's seeing the page. You've got an issue here. So I'm going to have to talk to my designer. I don't know why.
Are you rendering desktop or for mobile?
Sorry?
It says desktop, okay.
This is for desktop.
Confessions of a
How
Black
can you say desktop normally? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I think Matt Cutts is watching again and playing games.
Well, it could be. I'll do another fetch and render. It could be that was an old one. That is from quite some time ago. That might be before the page was fully done. And so I can submit it to the index if I want to resubmit it to the index if I have made changes. And I can see what Google is seeing now. And yeah, it's just as bad.
submitting
It's worse.
is a placebo really because Googlebot will crawl it in its own good time. It won't necessarily crawl it because you tell it, crawl it now and index it now.
No, there is a service you could pay for that submits your site to, I think, about 4,000 search engines. If you use that, it'll call you right away.
No.
Very unsurprising.
His money will soon be parted.
So that's how you became such a good SEO blogger.
So this is not a good sign. If you saw this in this screen, you would want to make sure that all of your style sheets and your JavaScript is reachable by Google, that none of it's being blocked. It'll say if it's being blocked here.
Yeah, that's what you have. It's because your images are bigger than what they're being styled as.
Probably.
With the style sheet not being available, they just display at the fullest.
That's entirely possible. That's a very good observation, Christina.
Yeah, I would look at your robots text to make sure you're not blocking that stuff.
I mean, why it's not?
While we're at it, we can go to the robots text tester here.
Just bring up the cache page. See what happens.
Oh, you don't have one.
And you can see that there's no robots text.
Okay.
If there was a robots text there, it would say, but you don't need a robots text. But it's very good if you want to block out certain areas. It's very good to block those out so that Google can't crawl them.
How is it that the style sheet is blocked? Or is it not on your site?
It was temporarily unavailable.
Well, or was it blocked server level? I mean,
It
some
was
guys.
unreachable.
Yeah.
Probably because it
On
doesn't
your site
exist.
or elsewhere?
Sorry, Christina?
Is the style sheet stored on the same site? Or is it somewhere else?
It's supposed to be on the same site.
Okay, I can't see because this is very tiny.
There's the style sheet.
And you presumably have not blocked it.
No, it's not blocked.
Nothing on the server side that says, I don't know, no.
No. You know, to tell you the truth, I've had nothing but trouble with this server. I don't know if you guys recall, a couple of weeks ago, the site was down for about a week. I've had nothing but trouble with this, so I switched to another server, and yeah.
Has anybody played around with the new Geo stuff that Google just announced a week or two ago?
I haven't.
Who's getting bored about this?
Tell me about it.
What Geo?
Where they're actually now crawling from different locations and also triggering language.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
language,
Yeah.
I actually been asking my clients that have a different language than English to actually send me their server logs every week to see if this Googlebot to see from where they're actually sending these people. Is it? I think probably they will send it from Ireland, Dublin office or India maybe.
See how Google is flipping over backwards to help webmasters who screw up their sites totally.
Why is that screwing up the site? Google should not be
Because you're
dictating.
blocking crawling, because you were saying, I don't want anyone from Thailand to access my site. I just want people from here. Or my site only caters to, I don't know, Greece. I don't want United States to see it. Well, tough.
No, it wasn't about that. It was more about like when you go to a certain homepage, the website, just the text.
The other thing you're talking about is specifically for this sort of trouble, where people are blocking IP addresses by country because they think I'm only catering to such and such country, not any others. So Google is flipping over backwards to still help them. The same is done with crawling JavaScript to discover links and content and all.
Google should be doing this. They should be crawling the web.
People
Yes,
should build proper sites. Come on.
Google does their job. SEOs wouldn't have to be here. No offense.
Yeah. True.
And Google has to do these things. They have to be able to crawl the web like the web is built. And a lot of people are building websites that geo-target specific content to specific people.
Yeah, well, then they'll never learn.
Who will never learn?
The people.
They don't have to learn. They have
Why
to build
not?
beautiful websites.
Oh, come on.
They don't have to learn. Google has to
All
learn.
those people building websites with Wix and haven't got a clue.
Well, let's look at how mobile was. You build, mobile a different way, and really what ended up happening was the smartphones caught up with how they were going to do it. But at that short period of time when we were all building very, very mobile-specific websites, Google had to figure out how to serve those. So I mean, I'm kind of with Barry on this. Is Google's got to deal with the reality that they're not always right, but they have to deal with the reality that they have to provide what people are looking for, and how they arrive at it we may not like, but they've got to serve up results.
It was interesting. I had a conversation with some really high-level Googlers, really high levels, not like almost like above that. Sorry?
Did you talk to Sergey?
No, he's playing around with like scooters and stuff. He's not involved. Really high levels on search side. He's not involved in the search side anymore. And they're asking me, how can I get more people to adopt app deep linking? I'm like, well, you can't just give people these tools and then take it away from them a year later because they're not going to want to invest in it, like with authorship and stuff like that. And they're like thinking like, whoa, what are you talking about? They're like, we're not looking at ways for webmasters to think how they can get more traffic to their site. We just want to be able to index and find more content that's not available to us today to improve the search experience for people who might have these apps on their phones. And that like kind of like blew me away. I'm like, wait a second. Step out as a webmaster. Think about the searcher. If people are building websites or putting content in websites that are geo-specific or within mobile apps or in PDFs or in JavaScript, Google wants to be able to give that content to their searchers when they find it to be relevant, even if it's the best type of content.
And take the good or the bad, because it also ends up finding all sorts of crap that they didn't intend to.
Okay, but
I think we have some questions, so I think we should go ahead and dive into those. Otherwise, we could stay down this track for like the next hour.
Okay, I just thought I said something pretty important.
Next week.
Well, go ahead, Barry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just thought that it's important for you as SEOs to understand that Google is really not interested in what's search engine friendly. They want to get content that they think is the best. And if you're saying, oh, who cares about this and we should do this and that, you got to think a step ahead. And make sure your website loads the way it does, like Josh's website loads in render, fetch and render, or else you're just doing it all wrong. There, my point's done. Go ahead, talk about SEO.
Okay, so someone did submit a question. They did submit a site to take a look at. So I'm gonna take a look at the site here.
Bodylicious.
It is an interesting site. It seems to be fashion related, and I don't know how deeply I'm going to click into this site, but I'll just keep it on this page right here.
I've not found anything super racy, Josh, so I looked fairly intently and I didn't find anything super racy. I'm joking.
I'm sure you did, my friend. I'm sure you did.
what you'll find pretty quickly, because I've been clicking around on this site seems to be all about moving people to other sites.
Exactly.
There is very little content that is directly related to this site itself. It's very thin. It's not well optimized anyway, and everything seems to be pushing people to, and it's not marked as affiliate stuff. So I don't know if she's maybe breaking some FCC regulations here as well, or I'm sorry, FTC regulations, because there's not disclosure if she is actually getting rewarded for sending traffic to these other places.
Yeah, it goes to this other site entirely.
Well, there's depending on which page you land on, you'll end up on there's 5 different complete links that look like they're in navigation, and that's key. It looks like it's part of their call-outs there, which would lead you to believe that it's going to be part of this site, and it takes you off to somebody else's site.
It's basically a link farm.
It's looking kind of that way. If you go to the weight loss blog, you even go to a Blogspot blog, this is not even on their site. So any benefit that any blog might have for their site, they're not going to have any benefit at all because it's not on their site.
But if you scroll to the bottom, they do have the city and state as well as a Google Plus button.
Yes, but it's not a full NAP either. So, I mean, they do not have a full NAP on their site anywhere, including their Contact Us page. But, I mean, I don't know how much that's really going to matter when, like Robert said, this is basically, it looks like a link farm. I mean, they're just putting enough content on there to try and drive people. I see Mary Kay in here. I see other lingerie shops in here. Oddly enough, without an affiliate tracking code.
Are they no followed?
That's a good question.
Someone check on that. So the issue
I didn't see no follow.
The issue is who is going to want to recommend this content? Who is going to want to read this content? As far as I can tell, there's nothing here to make it a separate brand. There's nothing here to make it. I mean, it's got a logo. They're trying to brand it, so they're starting to brand it out. But it doesn't seem to me that there's a lot of information on this particular website that is going to make it a substantive brand all on its own.
Yeah, Google's not going to rank something like that.
Yeah, why would they send somebody to here to then be taken off-site directly to another area? They're going to just jump you to that site because that's the site that is relevant for the query.
Yeah, and of course they do have algorithms to detect if people click on ads or leave the site right away to go to a different site, just exactly as the site is doing. So, of course, we applaud the maker of the site. For it looks pretty good. It definitely looks better than some sites we've looked at. I like the fact that they're branding it and they have their own brand. The logo doesn't look too bad, so it's not all negative. But there isn't. There's no content there. They don't even have a blog there. The blog goes to a Blogspot, and so. Although I did notice on the Blogspot that they had recipes and things like that, that's typically a no-no as well. That if you're going to be a blog on fashion, it's got to be on fashion. You can't add recipes and then a chiropractor article and then a herbal pill article. It makes it difficult for Panda.
Here's a good question that we don't unfortunately get to ask because the person is not here is what are you trying to accomplish with this site? Because if you're trying to be an affiliate site, it's going about it the wrong way. It doesn't have the proper disclosure, doesn't have the proper tracking. If you're trying to build a brand and you're trying to be a source of information for this field, then you have to have information that's unique for people who are searching for information about that field. And so it would help us to know what is the goal of this site.
Yeah, that's really important.
I'm just looking at some links, Amazon links. They're not followed, so that's already a no-no.
That can definitely be a problem. I've heard affiliates having issues if they don't follow those links and they don't clearly say that they're an affiliate.
But I didn't even see an affiliate link on there. Was there an affiliate link on the on the Amazon? Because I seen it was no follow, but I didn't see any affiliate links. But I didn't maybe
It's
click
a
on a
long,
different one.
long link, so I can't tell if some reference. Well, the referrer is passed in that link, so that's probably how the affiliate thing works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. Just
Yeah.
the fact that the way the site is structured is.
Yeah, I think that's just 1% of the 99% of the problem with this site.
Right.
I mean, there's so many more issues. I mean, we could spend an hour dissecting this entire website. I really think it needs to be broken down into what's the point of the website, and then outline the point of it and what you're trying to do. If you're just going to give links to other sites to make me click on something to take me to somewhere else, that doesn't help me at all. That doesn't help the user. That doesn't
unless
help
you're
anybody.
Google.
Unless you're Google, and that is a good place
Yeah.
to do it there because that's a search engine.
Well, or unless that you are providing some relevant additional augmentation to the information about it. Augmentation, sorry. But if you are actually like really talking about that subject and then you link off to that, then that could, that could be a filter. That could be something that is providing value. But if you're just saying, hit this category and then it immediately takes you to that off-site link, then no, that's no value.
And it's taking it through a couple of hops involving JavaScript as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
I was just looking at the plus size fashion. It goes to some kind of shortened URL, and then poof, it ends up on another site. So, no, doesn't do it for me.
Okay, so let's move on. If that person has any more questions, they by all means can contact us.
Who is
There's
it?
a question in the Google product forums, and the question is, I've tried to look for any kind of topic for help with no luck. I have a blog and offer advertising. A brand who is currently advertising with me has brought to my attention that there is an excessive amount of backlinks from my site to his. I have shared a post on this website with links to the website, all with no follow for the links. The banner to his website in my sidebar is also no follow.
Okay, I saw that post. I saw that thread.
It's a unique problem. Like, I was looking at this earlier this morning and thinking, like, there's some definite issues that you could deal with this.
So I don't understand what the question is. I guess the question is it okay because they're on no follow, or why are they on no follow?
Now it will be okay if they're truly no follow, including when Googlebot reads the pages. Sometimes that's not the case. Some people do little hanky-panky. It's no follow when you look in the browser, but when Googlebot actually visits, it's clear, go ahead. I've seen that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, is to make sure that if you switch the user agent that they are not serving it differently. I didn't extrapolate that from his description though.
No, I don't think he knows enough to do it, but somebody may have given him some kind of plug-in to do it with.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
I got somebody just submitted me a website for us to look at if you want to evaluate it.
Perfect.
Sure. So let's look at that afterwards. So let's just finish this question here. It seems to me what this person is asking is, why do they all show to be no follow? Why is there a constant change in the number of backlinks? He's worried about that. Is that a problem that there's a change in the number of backlinks as reported by Majestic or even by Webmaster Tools? And he has no idea how this has happened or how to get the links removed. Do the links need to be removed?
You should put them in one spot only, not put them in something that's shown on every single page of the site.
So I would say that, I mean, if they're all no follow, then this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Majestic is going to vary how many links it says it finds. Majestic is not Google, as good as they are. They're not Google.
But in Majestic, you have to specifically ask it to tell you the no-followed links or the followed links.
Sure, that could be a problem. Could be user error as well. The other problem is that it doesn't really matter. He doesn't necessarily need to remove these unless that other person is asking. If there are no follow links, then it doesn't matter. They're not included, as Ashley mentioned here, in the product form. If there are no follow links and they're not included in Google's algorithms, then you don't have to worry about them at all. So there's no reason.
Not going through some redirection and things like that, because sometimes they think that this is no follow, but they're actually going through a redirector URL that goes to another thing, that goes to another thing, in the hope it gets lost, and in fact it doesn't.
I don't know. So what's the relevance of that, Christina? I don't understand.
I'm just saying is they have to use the rel no follow on the link from the site, not hoping that they're jumping through different other links that redirect, and it's a throw2, it's JavaScript, it's not going to get past. No.
Right. So if the person making the link wants to make sure that that link has no danger for the person who's going to receive the link, this link here has to have a no follow set to it, and then it should be perfectly fine. And the amount that
to discover that they're all no followed.
Kevin?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the concern is if I have a list of links to this point, if I have a long list of links and somebody has bought that domain and I haven't switched my website yet, and then they do like 5 redirects after that, I think that's what she's saying is that could, if it looks like Google thinks you're trying to obfuscate that end URL, that might be bad. But that's partially what the no follow is supposed to be for, because you're basically telling Google, I'm not vouching for this link.
Yeah, it has to be right at the beginning. You don't count on further down the road things being no index, no followed, JavaScripted, whatever. Right from the start. That's the intention.
And because it has a no follow right from the start, it's not passing any juice no matter how many 301s you put in there. It doesn't matter.
That is true. But did it have no follow from the start? Or is it just something that was done? Now, he did say that he had some trouble setting up the no follow in the links because he's not going into the code. He's using some kind of widget. I wouldn't count on widgets. Oof.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're looking at the same question there, but so it seemed to me that his concern was that there was a bunch of links being made. Someone's complaining to him that his site's making links. He doesn't understand why the number fluctuates. The number can fluctuate for a million different reasons. It could be something on his server. It could be something about the reporting tool. And but if they all have no follow on them, then they're not an issue at all in any way, shape, or form. Okay, let's move on to someone else provided a site.
Yeah, Josh, that was Zim. He's sitting right there. He can answer any questions you might have about the site, but I put the link in the question Q&A.
Great, and I'm assuming he doesn't mind if we show it publicly?
No.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to call on Barry to give a very thorough, detailed SEO analysis of this site. I'm just joking. Barry's checking his finances there or something. He's or looking at the bill for his a million kids he has or something.
The site's perfect. Nothing has to be done with it. I looked at it for hours and hours.
There you go. Boom. Well, although not to contradict Mr. Barry Schwartz, I might take a look and I might give my own 2 cents. But if you guys want to take a look at the site here as well, so in fact I'll share it here. We're going to see the infinite regress. Okay, there we go. So you guys should see the site now?
Yep.
The cooperators, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously it's to sell insurance, auto and home insurance.
I've actually heard of them.
Yep, so have I. So just taking a quick look around the site, things don't look that bad. I just want to ask you guys a question. What is the first thing your eyes saw when I opened up this page?
First thing?
Yeah, what was the first thing your eyes saw?
The policy.
The smiling faces.
The smiling faces, exactly. Because where this is situated...
There are 2 groups on the screen.
I would have to say something that I'm seeing is there's very little content.
Absolutely. This is almost like the other one that we just looked at. The whole purpose of this site is to move somebody to another site almost immediately.
We're seeing your email, Josh.
No! Good thing it wasn't that porn email.
So again, we're back to that same thing. Is, I mean, what's obvious on this one that wasn't on the other one? It's clear what the desired action is here. I mean, they're definitely trying to get people to contact them for insurance quotes and so forth like that. But if there's no content here, I don't see a blog. I don't see any kind of conversation. I don't even see what would really be considered adequate, money pages or descriptionary pages, or whatever terminology you want to use.
Call to action.
Well, I mean, they got calls to actions everywhere, but they don't have much content around it. So for me, outside of silly things like there's not very much quality information in the title tags, and silly on-site stuff like that, I just don't think it would rank anyway because there's not enough here.
Right.
It's subsidiary of something else. HP, whatever.
Yeah, they seem to be some kind of reseller. I see the page loads pretty slowly. That's going to be an issue. You can get online quotes. As Kevin said, there's calls to action all over the place. But there is pretty much no information here at all. Again, this is in the same category as the page before. It's a pretty screen on other stuff that it has nothing to rank it in and of itself. And I don't even see a blog here, as Kevin mentioned.
Here's an interesting thing, though. If you look in the right-hand side, they do have an FAQ. They have asked questions. But now, just so everybody, this is a great point to make for people, though. Notice that all of that content is on one single page. Every bit of that FAQ content is all on one page, so there's not going to be any, any defined subject on any of it, because it's all about, well, maybe insurance, but you've got payment, privacy, claims, policies, all of that.
That's fine.
Now, I'll bet dollars to donuts that this is all copied from the main site, if not pulled from the main site.
Yep. So what's going to be the real value of having that there? Now, the truth is it may actually convert people. It may answer the questions, but it's not going to appease Google.
Yeah, another thing I noticed, too, is I wouldn't use JavaScript to pull in your title tags.
Is that what they're doing?
It looks like it. There's some JavaScript. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking below it. Sorry. Never mind. I was like, I've never seen that before. Okay.
Oh, I see that. But,
they're not sufficient. They're not descriptive enough.
Around 2000. Scrolling.
Yeah, Robert. The thing of it is that even if I think the real issue here is just like we were saying is lack of content, because I think even if you had really optimized title tags and you had good H1s on the page and you had a good cross-linking structure and so forth like that, well, actually there's not even a sufficient architecture here to support cross-linking and landing pages. So I just think that you might as well stick a nail in it. That thing is done.
I wouldn't say that. It can be fixed. It's
well, no, as it stands. I mean, in we don't have to keep talking about it. That's if you're not going to put something on there of value, all of the title tags and H1s in the world aren't going to help.
I agree entirely there, Kevin. So I don't know if this person has any extra questions. Again, we don't mean to be something like a broken record, but you really need some kind of content there. So let's give him or her some suggestions in. What could they do to beef up the content? What kind of ideas could they use? What kind of things could they put on there that would actually help people or actually compete with what's already there? The obvious suggestion is, well, make a blog. But of course, there are about a bazillion blogs on this particular topic of everybody else trying to get content to rank in Google. So is there anything they can do? What can they do to try and actually stand out?
Solve people's problems. answer their questions, try and evoke some kind of emotion if you can, and to get some kind of conversation going. Those last two are going to be very difficult for this type of a site, but you really go back to the first two, which is, what do people ask when they're getting ready to buy insurance? You need to talk to your client-facing individuals, your salespeople, and the underwriters, and say, what do you constantly get asked? And then create really good quality content that answers those questions and educates people.
Yeah, and to your point, Kevin, I think so much is written on the insurance industry already. There's, so many articles that it's going to be hard competing on even the most frequently asked questions. So this person is going to have to find a very, very niche topic to write about, something that's not covered, something really long tail that people don't talk about that they can hope to rank for, because they're good luck trying to rank for all these topics with about.com and ehow.com and all the other similar companies.
Yeah, that's a good point, Danny. Either you're pushed into the more long tail unique, and or you beat everyone at the head term, the big term game. And again, I keep using this screenshot. It is from Moz. I'll give full credit to Moz for making this screenshot originally. But the more you can be one of a kind, the more you can be uniquely valuable, the more you have a group that will amplify you. That's the other question, is what group is going to amplify this? There are no insurance enthusiasts, right? There's no group who are like crazy about insurance and they're going to retweet and share your stuff. So that means that means you have to be extra useful and extra helpful and one of a kind, so that people will want to share it. Regular people will want to share it. And if this person was thinking ahead, they'd think, how can I make content that is relevant to this niche but also has a crazy group who wants to share it? Maybe they'd partner with some kind of charity. Maybe they'd partner with some kind of not-for-profit. Maybe they would make insurance for a specific, like the boating industry, or a specific specific industries where they have groups that are very active online and like to share. For example, a lot of people don't know this, but baby boomers and retirees love to share on social. They share like crazy. If you can get into golf, if you can get into fishing, if you can get into boating, if you can get into any of these activities that retirees and baby boomers love to do, they love to share this stuff. They're actually a gold mine that a lot of people don't realize of information to share online.
What I don't like about this site is what I don't like about many sites of similar ilk. You have to ask for a quote to get an idea of what's going on. Why not put it directly on the site as a calculator or something? I'm putting this amount, what I get here. That's all. I don't want to send an email to anybody. I don't want anyone to contact me by phone or email.
Some people don't have the resources to install something like that. That's very proprietary software technology. I mean, these are small mom and pop insurance brokers. They don't have the resources to install something like that.
I go to call the companies myself. And if I have to get a quote, I'm going to...
Hold on, Christina. Let Kevin say what he wants to say.
Yeah, sorry. We've done a lot in this space. There's a lot of individual state and federal regulations on how exactly they can operate. And so they cannot just give you a quote via a calculator right there on the spot like that. There's just a lot of regulation around that. And so,
because they want to be able to lie to me individually. So
well, I
I
can't speak to whether somebody is lying or not lying.
I will.
But I can.
Let's not talk about the lying part. Let me say some stuff here. So the webmaster for this is in contact with me, and he's been asking me some questions. He says, what are the top 3 things to fix? I can boil it down to one thing: have a site. That's the one thing to fix. I mean, not to be glib, but quite frankly, this is a tactic that Google is well aware of, and that Google has made their algorithms in such a way that it's not poised for success in any way, shape, or form. You need to have a site that is so useful, so interesting that people of their own volition are going to share it because they think it's, wow, the best insurance site that they've ever seen. That's question one. The other question is, he asks, how is it technically? Well, technically, if I take a look, again, it's really hard to adjudicate it because it's such a cookie-cutter site. But if I take a look under the hood, like as I said, it's slow. You don't want it to be slow. I don't see any extra keyword stuffing in the HTML as I'm quickly looking, although I do see a little bit of extra keyword stuffing in the alt attributes. Actually, not bad at all. Just one alt attribute has a keyword in there where it doesn't need to have it in there. But that doesn't look that bad at all. I would check the site on stuff like other various tools you can quickly look at, like Page Speed Insights. If you take a look at Page Speed Insights, I'll put the tool in there. I'll put the site in there. It'll come up in a second. He messaged me here. I thought keyword stuffing was dead. I agree. Yeah, keyword stuffing is pretty much dead. You need to label your pages correctly. I would have the keyword in the URL and/or the title. I prefer the title. Block level heading, H1 or H4, somewhere at the top, and once or twice in the text. But other than that, really, it's overkill. So you do have to give Google some hints that this is what this page is about, but they're getting very good at determining what the page is about. Otherwise, you don't need to stuff the keywords in the title or the alt attribute. Now, if I take a look here at, here's some interesting information. If I take a look here, I'll share my screen here. If I take a look at the Page Speed Insights, again, this is a nice little tool that I like to use. You guys can see the Page Speed Insights here? You guys can see this, yes?
Yeah.
So first off, his speed is not very good at all. It's only 52 out of 100. And he does have some suggestions of stuff he can fix on the mobile side. So that's not too good. You want to improve that. On the desktop side, again, 63 out of 100 is not that great of a score. And you should try and see if you can fix these things that are being mentioned here.
Is that WordPress or?
No, it's not WordPress. It's on an IIS server.
So we'd have to make a deeper look to check for technical things. But I mean, really, everything we say is going to be moot because you kind of have to change the site entirely. You have to make a. I mean, the design looks good to me. I need to check the Google Analytics to see who clicks where and how well it's converting. It seems like, as Kevin said, it has calls to action all over the place. So this is interesting because this site has a different problem than most sites. Most sites that come to us and most sites that we look at to do an SEO analysis, they don't think like affiliates. They don't think like online marketers. Online marketers are very good at making sure the calls to action are somewhere. To make sure the calls to action are, let me see here, how do I, there we go. Can you guys see my face now?
Yeah.
There we go. Online marketers and affiliates are very good at making sure that the calls to action are in place. This is something that a lot of businesses forget to do. A lot of businesses forget to make sure that the calls to action are in place and that there's something that they can click on. Whereas this site has the exact opposite, but they have a lot of content. Maybe not good content, but they have 1,000 blog articles because they've been making them since 2007. This site has the exact opposite problem. It's very slick in terms of its sales presentation, but it doesn't have a lot of content. So you need a balance between the two. You need to have excellent content that people are going to share of their own volition, and you also have the call to actions there so people will click on it. Does anybody else have any comments about that? I see some talk in the chat.
Yeah, it looks like it's on Sitecore, and so that's neither here nor there because we could argue all day long about CMSs and so forth. But what Google is really going to be concerned about is what's on the page. And the other thing here is that I don't see any kind of localization here. So you're really trying to go for just this huge national terms, this huge bucket. So I would immediately ask you if if you could pare that down. Do you have an area that you serve? Because that would at least then give you some relevance to an area and some content that you could produce that would be different because it's relevant to an area or serving a certain audience or demographic. And that would also allow you then to say have people that that the quote is going to. So you may have 5 underwriters or so forth, and you could do a highlight on each one of those underwriters or something along that lines. I'm not saying they would want to do that, but you're getting different content, something that is absolutely unique to you, to that area, and solves people's problems and answers their questions.
From the About Us, it says it's a Canada-wide company.
One thing you can look at too is discounts in the insurance industry anyway has been kind of beat down by quite a few people. If you gave more of a, what makes you different compared to the others, and that could be stuff to write about.
Give me 40% off. Off of what, please?
Okay, so we only have 5 minutes left.
Typical salesmanship, the insurance salesman thing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. The person messaged me and says, "Thank you very much." Says, "Nice idea. Thank you very much," and they appreciate it very much. So we only have 5 minutes left. Does anybody have any final things they want to say? Barry, I always give you the final word. What is the final word you'd like to say?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Barry. As per usual, you're welcome for everything that we've done and you do for us. I don't know. All right, well, does anyone else have anything else any final comments they want to say about this site, about what they can do to make it better, or about SEO in general?
I have a question for Barry. Do you have any details as far as Twitter or Google being able to feed Twitter, or you know what I mean? As far as where they're going to post that, is that going to be in a live feed like they used to, or is that going to be what?
There's no details out yet. I don't know. I'm surprised they're doing it. I'm really shocked. I'm shocked they're going back to it, but...
Why are you shocked? I'm not all that shocked. I think they probably came to finally an agreement of what it's actually worth.
I think
and
Twitter
it's a lot lower than what... Huh?
I think Twitter came begging to Google, saying we need
I agree, because the last time I think the reason it got dropped was because they asked too much money. They thought they were bigger than what they were, and Google said, no, we can do without it. Now I think there's probably a lower price, and it makes sense for both of them.
I'd be surprised if there's any price. I don't know.
I think for Twitter, Twitter stands to win more than Google does.
Just think about it. Google was able to get the most important tweets anyway, through their linkage data, whatever. People were linking to important tweets. They were finding the most important tweets and indexing them and showing them in the search results. Now what they're doing is they're getting tweets faster, and most of those tweets are just garbage. No offense to you guys or anything.
I only tweet to complain.
So, Barry, is it a resurrection of the pipe, the direct pipe from Twitter to Google? Or Google has found a way to spider their servers?
No, it's a fire hose.
They got access to the hose, yeah.
So the fire hose has been renegotiated. So it really is a resurrection of the old plan.
Question is, are they going to use the same old infrastructure? Is it going to be the same layout? Are they going to re-enable that real-time search feature that they had? I don't know. These are all good questions. I don't know. I don't know if they even needed it, to be honest. But nobody scratched. No searcher said, "Oh, I'm missing out." I mean, in the news box already has tweets that were pretty much real-time that were important.
So that's a great question. The question is, why are they doing it? If you don't see much of a value, why would they be doing it?
Well, I think Barry doesn't see much of a value. That doesn't mean there isn't much of a value.
Well, speculate as to what you think the value could be. What value do you see in it, Kevin?
Well, I think that when you have big events like on the Super Bowl, that there are a lot of people that are not participating in Twitter right now. So from Twitter's standpoint, it's hugely valuable for conversations to be percolated up to the top for those who are not either logged in or are not even participating whatsoever. So the value to Twitter and the amount of people that you could see potentially converting over is easily recognizable. The value to Google is more suspect. They typically want the latest of whatever they can grab. It's going to be in how they present that data that I think is really going to make it interesting. But if you even think about what they do with the knowledge graph, this just gives them a better knowledge graph of real-time engagement around certain things that are happening.
Right. Plus, I mean, there might be some value in terms of them maybe being able to get the authority of a specific Twitter user, like, you know, followers, retweets that they really weren't able to see as well. So certain data behind the Twitter user and the tweets that are going out there. But again, it might also be that Google Plus is not what they expected, and they need Facebook they can't get access to, so now it's Twitter. So, but in terms of search and pure search, they were doing a good job of bringing out the most important tweets, the most relevant tweets based on a query.
And I would be very surprised if they don't do something with hashtags.
They already do.
But something bigger than that.
All right, start spamming your hashtags.
Hey, wasn't it you, Barry? No, it was Danny Sullivan. Back when they first started doing that, you could rename a Twitter list with an exact match, and it would rank on page 1 within hours of it being crawled. Danny Sullivan took that to Google, and they did get that fixed. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, sure, there was ways to game it. When has there not been?
And on that note, we'll end for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching and joining Helpdesk Hangouts. The last 5 seconds, what does Wissam have to say?
Thank you all for coming.
There we go.
I'll be a bit.
Well said. I love this ninja kind of call on you thing I do because I'm throwing you all off. I love it. All right, thanks very much, everybody. Again, this has been Helpdesk Hangouts. If you have any questions, if you have websites you want us to take a look at, or industry-related stuff you want us to talk about, by all means, join us next week. Arrivederci.
Ciao.